Well, when I first started teaching in a junior school, I was getting, at least one or two, perhaps some years half a dozen children who were coming into year 3 completely unable to read despite 3 years of infant education. And obviously they came with extremely worried parents. I would confidently say to the parents, don't worry, I can teach your child to read. And lo and behold, they did start to read using systematic synthetic phonics and these little decodable books I was writing.
When we first started thinking about Faith in Phonics, we were like, what would that look like? Who can we really secure that would bring these fascinating and exciting Bible stories to life? So we were absolutely thrilled when we managed to secure Dr. Marlynne Grant, who is really the authority on phonics. She's informed the Department for Education. She has her own sound discovery phonics progression, and she sits on the Reading Reform Foundation.
When I realised that there were a lot of children who were struggling to learn to read, I started to explore all the available research into how children learn to read. There's a very clear progression in the Faith and Phonics books. So any teacher, irrespective of whichever program they're using, will be able to look at the phonic focus, which is clearly displayed in every book, and say, I know that I have taught my children this amount of knowledge and those skills. This book will be appropriate. And because children need as much practice as they can get with reading, that'll be a wonderful asset for the school, a real support, and in addition to the other books they'll have for the children to read.
The author of Faith in Phonics is Jackie Day, and Jackie used to work in a primary school as a SENCO, and she's also been instrumental in teaching at Sunday schools. Bible
stories are usually quite exciting stories for children, whether you are a person of faith or of none. I've got a 6-year-old grandson who absolutely loves the story of David and Goliath. There are many very good stories. They're an important part of a child's education, I think, whatever people believe in. Things like being kind to other people, or what you might want to do if you're frightened, the importance of music, that sort of thing. So I think that they are applicable to a broader audience than just the Christian audience.
But really, to bring these beautiful stories to life, we needed a fantastic illustrator, and so we were so fortunate. We had Emma, who's done a marvellous job on bringing these beautiful stories to life in such a creative and modern way.
So to see what I have written professionally illustrated has been an absolute joy. A friend of mine looked at the books and said, oh, these are much nicer to look at than your average phonics book. And I would totally agree.
The phonics used and developed through Faith and Phonics meets the expectations in England of the most recent government policy paper, the Reading Framework for the Foundations of Literacy, the Ofsted Inspection Framework, the National Curriculum 2014, and the Phonics Screening Check, first introduced in 2012.
The great thing with Faith in Phonics is that with the 2 sets that we've created, they follow the full progression, the language progression needed for reception and year 1. So children can dip into those books with the different stories and the different levels pertaining to their certain reading level.
Not all children learn at the same rate. So there will be some children who might still want to read these books in year 2 or further up the school. Maybe they've come from another country, and they're learning English and need something simple to read for the first time. The books come with a phonic focus, so you can check the child actually knows the sounds that they're going to be reading, and it comes with a faith focus. So there's a little summary in the table of books which tells you what the key message for the child is from that book.
Well, we imagine that they will be used in faith schools, but we see that they will have wider usefulness for children in all schools. But most naturally, they'll be used in the home setting as well. because as a Christian it's something that we like to read with our children, and having a book that we know that they can pick up and go and read for themselves will give them a great sense of satisfaction.
So if you're looking to purchase Faith in Phonics, they come in 2 lovely sets. This is the first set with a lovely case containing the 12 books. So you can buy these from our website or through us on customer care.
Very often I'd want to buy them a little book, say at Christmas time, that they could read for themselves, and there was absolutely nothing out there. So I'm glad the Faith in Phonics series has got 2 Christmas books, one in set 1 and one in set 2.
And certainly having as much practice with a book with such engaging illustrations that we have, it really brings them alive, which I think will entrance children and will be, very important parts of their childhood. When I remember now the books that I had as a child, I can remember a nursery book I have, I remember the pictures, and I remember that the nursery rhymes, those are so precious. And I'm hoping that our Faith in Phonics books will actually be precious to children and families too.
You can probably tell that we're all truly excited about this resource. And I think we can all remember those special books that we had when we were young that really enthused us in a way of imagination, creativity and faith. And we know that this series of books is really going to be one of those special resources that is loved and cherished by schools and families alike for years to come.